Well, what we're going to discuss today is we have a great panel up here of some experts with Mr. Louis Trinidad, who's the Assistant Director, Office of Small Business Programs at Fort Hood. We have Delia Molina, who is the historically underutilized Business Marketing Coordinator with the Texas Comptroller's Office, and Tim Scarborough, who's the Program Director of University of Houston Procurement Technical Assistance Center. And we're going to have an open forum here in a little bit to try to answer any questions that you guys may have regarding contracting. Contracting yields lots of opportunity for small businesses. And that's why we assembled some of these guys here today to kind of tell you about some of the resources. Again, my name's Jason Ayler, and I work for the Small Business Development Center. And what we can do I spend a lot of time with folks, getting set up for government contracting. That's going to include getting registered themselves in SAMs, obtaining their DUNS number, and knowing where to go to try to find contracts, to do the bidding process. Now, that's where my expertise ends, and that's where I utilize these experts here to help guide the rest of the way as far as obtaining some of those things. So, again, my part is just the beginning, so I'm going to turn to the panel who are the experts, and we'll start with Tim from PTAC to kind of tell a little bit about what he does. So, Tim?
Thank you, Jason.
Yes, sir.
Can y'all hear me well? Good morning, everybody. As Jason said, I'm Tim Scarborough with the University of Houston Procurement Technical Assistance Center, and as you have already heard this morning, there are a lot of resources available to you to help you get your business started and to help you to understand how to do business with government. When most people hear that we are part of a procurement agency with procurement in our name, they normally try to associate us with the procurement department with the University of Houston, the part of our university that issues the solicitations, evaluates your offers, and awards contracts. Well, we are a business development program. PTACs are nationwide, and there are PTACs in all 50 states. In the state of Texas alone, there are 8 PTACs, and we work based on a geographic basis. In Houston, we support 35 counties, primarily surrounding the greater Houston area, but surprisingly, we also support individuals who have businesses in Bell County. So if you are located in Bell County, the University of Houston PTAC can be a resource for you to help you understand how to do business with government. And that's what our focus is. We want to educate you and guide you on how to sell your products and services to local, state, and federal government. We're funded through the Defense Logistics Agency. We also have funding through the state of Texas, so our program is no cost to you at all. The way we provide our services is primarily through 2 key ways. One, through one-on-one advising. If you become a client, all we require is that you be a legally formed business in the state of Texas. We can't work with you if you're thinking about starting a business, but if you're at least a sole proprietorship, LLC, partnership, or corporation, we are eligible to work with you. And then the second criteria is that you have to be in one of our 35 counties. So if you're not in one of the 35 counties that we support, which I said earlier is primarily surrounding the Houston area and Bell County, we do have a national association website. And if you're not in our service area, I would invite you just to do a simple Google search. It's called APTAC, Association of Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, APTAC, followed by the words find a PTAC, and I'm pretty highly confident that's going to bring you to our National Association website, and you'll see the map there where you can drill down by state and you can locate your PTAC. If you need any assistance in that regard, please come see me at my table, and I will be glad to help give you more specific information as it relates to that. So we provide 2 key services. One is the one-on-one advising once you become a client, which is no cost to you, and then we have low-cost workshops in a wide variety of government procurement subjects to help you understand how to do business with government. We charge a flat fee of $19 for our workshops, but again, if you become a client, that cost is already taken care of by you, the taxpayer, through the federal government and the state of Texas. Now, we're not considered a help desk per se, although we do provide one-off support when somebody comes and sees us and needs help. We are required to develop our program. We call our program the 3 R's of government contracting: register, research, and respond. And there is some duplicative effort by some of these agencies that you'll hear up here today, as well as the SBDC, in regard to what we do. And as I mentioned earlier, our focus is local, state, and federal. And regardless of which government agency you're looking to do business with, you are going to have to be registered as step 1. So what does that consist of? And I like to use the federal government as an example. You have to identify your industry codes, your NAICS codes, North American Industrial Classification System codes. They tell who you are, what you do, and tells the federal government agency who you are and what you do. Then you have to register in SAM, the System for Award Management. It is just a vendor registration system. It does not send you notices of opportunities. It allows you to get assigned what's called a CAGE code, a Commercial and Government Entity Code, which is a unique code that identifies you. Once we get you registered, we also look at the certification programs you may be eligible for. If you haven't had a chance to come see me at my table, I have a spreadsheet there that identifies the more common certification programs you may be eligible for. And these are the socio and economically disadvantaged programs that are available to minorities, women, and persons with disabilities, to include service-disabled, veteran-owned small businesses. So if you're eligible for these programs, certainly we encourage you to take advantage of them, and we help you understand the application and the eligibility process involved. So once we get you registered, get you on the track to getting you certified, then we're in the research phase, and that consists of 2 things. 1, knowing where to find the opportunities. Again, using the federal government as an example, anything exceeding $25,000 is going to be found on FedBizOps or Federal Business Opportunities, www.fbo.gov. There's a second aspect to that, and this is the way I like to describe it. There are 2 types of contractors primarily. You've got the reactive and you've got the proactive. I don't use the term reactive negatively. This is something you need to do. This is whereby you're registered with FedBizOps, you're getting the notices in, and you're reacting to the notices as they come to you. You can win contracts that way. I see it day in and day out. But what we find is people that have the proactive approach are more successful. What does that consist of? That means you've got the reactive approach set up. You're monitoring those notices when they come in, because you have to do that. But you also understand the market research aspect of it. You understand where to find the data, what publicly available systems are available to you, such as the Federal Procurement Data System or USA Spending. You know who to outreach to within the federal government agencies, and you're trying to find out what I consider as 2 of the most important bits of information you need to know when you're outreaching to somebody. 1, do they buy your products and services? Because if they don't, certainly you don't want to waste your time with them. And if they do, how they buy them. That's the contract vehicles they use in order to get things on contract with you. So there's a 2 aspect to the marketing research, and we help you understand how to do that. We actually have a guide. It's called a Government Marketing Strategy Guide that we've written that gives you a structured process for that proactive approach. Once we've gotten you registered, once we have you understanding the research process, then you get to the pinnacle of our program, the respond phase. That's where you're looking at solicitations and making what they call that bid, no bid decision. I'm sure some of you have seen, by a show of hands, how many of you have seen a government solicitation before? Okay, so there's quite a few of you who have not. And for those of you who have not, talk to somebody who has. Because I guarantee you, it doesn't matter if you're looking at local, state, or federal, it is going to be a deer in the headlights look for you the first time you look at one. Because they are chock full of terms and conditions, clauses and provisions, and it's going to be a learning process for you. So we sit down with our clients, we review the solicitation with them, help them get to the bid, no bid decision. If you decide to participate, then we help you put together an outline of your offer, answer any questions you have about the solicitation. Now, we aren't an agency that does the work for you, but we're there for you as you're going through the process of putting your bid together. And time permitting, once your bid is prepared, you can send it to us and we'll take a look at it for you to make sure you dotted the I's and crossed the T's. So again, we call it the 3 R's of government contracting: register, research, and respond. The 2 good things about this program: 1, it applies to local, state, and federal, so it's a model that applies across all three. And two, regardless of your experience doing business with government, our advisors can assess where you are, insert you in that process, and move forward. If you're already registered in SAM and your SAM is up to tight and you're ready to go, we can bypass the registration phase, put you right into the research phase, and move forward all the way to the respond phase. Again, we service 35 counties surrounding the greater Houston area and Bell County. So if you are within our service area, I invite you to come get one of our brochures. I'll give you our website. It's www.ptac.uh.edu. And if you're not within our service area, again, as I mentioned earlier, you can do that search for APTAC, pull up the state map, and you can find the PTAC that provides your services. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Tim. Next, we're going to open it up to Mr. Trinidad from Fort Hood, Assistant Director, to tell us a little bit about what he works with on a daily basis.
Hello, everyone. My name is Louis Trinidad. I'm the Assistant Director with the Mission Installation Contracting Command. So how many folks in here want federal government contracts? Okay, how many are already registered, have a DUNS number, have a SAM profile, and have an active dynamic small business search profile? Okay, so we have some. So some of you may have some homework to do. This is one of the things that I like to tell folks when it comes to government contracting. I routinely get people that come over and they've worked with companies that have charged them $3,000 to $5,000 to get registered and go through all this process. And then there are those that have just gone to the local PTAC and were able to get everything done for free. So just to bear in mind, the PTAC is funded, partially funded by DLA, which is Defense Logistics Agency. So we're actually partially funding their resource for you. And in some cases, people aren't taking advantage of that. And it's a shame that, we have folks that have spent money out of their pockets when there's a free resource over there. So I'm just kind of wanted to highlight just how capable and able they are to help you. But our offices, we have 30 contracting offices throughout the United States. Last year, we did close to $5 billion. So we're talking a lot of money. How much of that went to small business? 54% of it. So what's my job and the job of my staff is basically to ensure that we maximize utilization of small businesses. We're looking out for the little guys, making sure that you have an opportunity to bid and that those requirements aren't all going to large businesses. But as part of that, part of your job is to let us know that you're able to meet the requirement that, hey, I have the resources and I can do this. Gentleman from PTAC mentioned federal business opportunities. That is a great resource to look for opportunities, but at the same time, you are being reactive when you're seeing the opportunity. It's really important to get in early. So how can you get in early? Well, you can reach out to your PTAC, get information from them on how to navigate FPDS. You can come see us when we have open houses. Those open houses are typically presented on FedBizOps. They're posted, and they'll let you know exactly when it's going to happen. When those events happen, they usually give you what's called a forecasting. And that forecasting lets you know, hey, we have these requirements that are coming up. If you're interested, take a look at them. But for all you folks that are looking at government contracting, there's more to it than that. I see folks that'll go full on for a requirement and they don't even know what the market's like. In other words, am I going to have a reasonable price? Am I going to be competitive? What was the competition like before? What type of set aside did we do before? All that information is publicly available. So once you get registered, if you need additional assistance with that, PTAC is a resource. You can also come see me in my booth and I'll give you my card, and then you can schedule an appointment with me and I can go over some of that stuff with you. But basically, the information is readily available. So what does a smart small business do? They go and look and say, okay, this requirement is coming out. Can I be competitive in that? Yes or no? Okay, what was the type of set aside before? Chances are it could potentially be that same set aside again. Do I qualify, right? And then what was the competition like? If you had 15 proposals for that requirement or 15 quotes, is that going to be something that I have a good chance of winning? Or do I focus my efforts, because we have limited resources, right? Do I focus my efforts more on those requirements that receive maybe 3 to 4 or 5 proposals? So if you are prioritizing the workload and there's infinite number of opportunities, really before you even go out there, it makes sense to kind of narrow those down, see which ones go well with the skills that you have, and then prioritize based on which ones you can be competitive at and which one the competitive market is good for you in. So having said that, there's also socioeconomic set-asides that we do. So I would say when you talk to PTAC, ask them about that, because you may qualify for some. What does that do for you? When we do a socioeconomic set-aside, it reduces the pool. So there's the ability to do SDVOSB, which are service disabled, veteran-owned small business set-asides. We also do hub zone set-asides. And I just wanted to make the distinction that Texas has a Texas state hub, but there's also a federal hub zone. So sometimes folks misinterpret that and then bid thinking that they qualify and they don't. So make sure you look at both. Look at the Texas hub, but also look at the federal hub. Women-owned small businesses, some NAICS. NAICS are numbers that we use to classify work, services, and supplies. Well, some of them actually are underrepresented by women, and we have the ability to do women-owned small business set-aside and economically disadvantaged women-owned small business set-aside. Get accustomed to that. Look at those NAICS codes to see which ones you could potentially be set aside as women-owned small businesses. And then there's the 8A program. Under the 8A program, we can actually do direct sole source awards up to $4 million. So if you qualify under the 8A program and get registered, there's the opportunity to get direct awards through that as well. Subcontracting, that's another area that's often on tap. When we do a contract to a large business and it's over 700,000, 750,000, we actually require them to do a subcontracting plan. And what happens if they don't achieve those goals? Well, we have what's called liquidated damages. And if they actually don't make a good faith effort to reach those goals, we can implement those punitive damages. So you said you were going to subcontract this, you didn't, sorry, we're taking that money away. Wow. So guess what? They take that subcontracting seriously. They're looking for small businesses that are capable to subcontract part of that work so they can meet those goals. So what does that mean? FPDS is a free tool that's out there. You can see who has a contract. Are they a large business? Do they need to subcontract? Maybe I should give them a call. Those are things that you can do, but first you have to get registered. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is just the economic impact of some of these offices. For ours, I mentioned 54% went to small business, but the office right here locally at Fort Hood obligated $244 million. And out of that, $70 million went to businesses in the area. And small business disabled, veteran-owned small businesses, over $25 million went to them. So there are opportunities. There are others that are playing in it and winning successfully. It is daunting at first, especially if you don't know anything about it. You're going to look at those documents and they're going to look like taxes, but there are resources that will guide you through it. And if you take it one little step at a time, establish your DUNS number. Don't pay attention to those companies that reach out to you and tell you, hey, we'll help you for $3,000. Just go to your PTAC. They'll help you out. Once you get set up, come see me. I'll look at your profile and tell you, everything you did wrong or everything you did right, hopefully, right? And look for those opportunities. The final part that I wanted to close out is in saying sources soughts are real important. And PTAC will educate you on that as well a little bit, but sources sought is when we're looking for capable small businesses. Okay, depending on the responses we receive, if we have capable small businesses, the Federal Acquisition Regulation requires us to set that aside for small business. In some cases, if there's two or more social economic set aside, like a woman-owned and it's available, we're required to look at that. But what happens, a lot of times people don't spend time responding to those sources. So if there's no responses and we don't have, based on our market research, sufficient information to determine that there are two or more small businesses that are capable, we have to do it unrestricted. So that's a lesson learned. A lot of times there's folks that aren't responding. So take a look at those and spend time in them, because they will result in more small business set aside. I'm doing all I can on my side, and I think we're pretty successful in doing 54%, but we need your help because we can even do more. That's the way I feel. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Luis. All right, and lastly, I would like to introduce Delia Molina, and she is the Hub Coordinator for the Texas Comptroller's Office. So,
Thank you.
welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, great. It is my pleasure to be here with you this morning, and I'm going to talk to you about the historically underutilized business, which is Hub. So with the show of hands, can I see how many folks out in the audience are Hub certified? Okay, 2. Okay, great. So I'm going to go through and kind of define it and kind of give you a little bit more information, okay? So Hub is a for-profit entity that has not exceeded the size standard prescribed by the SBA, and is at least 51% owned by Asian Pacific American, Black American, Hispanic American, Native American, American woman, and let's save the best part for last, 20% service disabled veteran. So yes, as a veteran, you do qualify for the Hub program. And you must reside in Texas and actively participate in the control, operation, and management of the entity's affairs. So with the Hub program, it is also a socio-economic program. And so it is with the state of Texas, the great state of Texas. It's a certification that is geared for folks that live in the state of Texas and reside and do business in the state of Texas. So I prepared my presentation on to describe some of the benefits of the Hub. First of all, it's free, and it's good for 4 years. And what it is state agencies and universities are constantly looking to work with businesses certified as historically underutilized, or Hub. I'm going to use Hub from now on, the acronym. The goal of this good faith effort is to actively involve hubs in the Texas procurement process and ensure they receive a fair share of state business. So I do work in the statewide Hub program in the statewide procurement division. So just to kind of put that out there. Only certified hubs are listed in the online Texas Hub directory. So if folks are looking, or state agencies want to use the Hub directory in conjunction with the certified master bidders list, and I'll go into that here in just a little bit, contracts. Prime contractors also use the Hub directory to identify hubs to whom they want to send notifications of subcontracting opportunities. So for purchases under $5,000 or less, state agencies can directly contact a business to buy goods and services. But if it's a procurement that is over $25,000, then it is posted on our electronic state business daily, which is a huge electronic bulletin board, of opportunities, where we go through and post those opportunities to give everybody equal opportunity to bid on those solicitations. So, and then for as far as the Hub certification, it is a very good tool that we use for procurement in the state. And so I wanted to kind of tell you the 3 C's as far as the Hub certification. It's very important, and I encourage each and every one of y'all to kind of look for the Hub certification if you're not certified. And I have a table out there with the applications, and I can explain the information a little bit more. But with the HERB certification, it's also very important in contracting with the state of Texas or any city or governmental agency. They have, they're also, I guess, supposed to make a good faith effort to try to reach out and utilize hubs in their procurements. And to kind of give you an example, so approximately, is it 14,800 approximately, there, that's the number of hubs in the state of Texas. And last year, 2017, about 11% of those hubs received 11% of the contracting opportunities that were available. So something to keep in mind as far as trying to build the business opportunities that you have for your business is, one, to get hub certified, and two is to go through and look for contracting opportunities in our electronic state business daily. And also, another important part is to contact state agencies. And on our website, we have the state agencies' hub coordinators, which are, a few of them are here as well. If y'all want to show of hands so y'all can identify the folks here that the state agencies have as far as their hub coordinators that assist in making the business opportunities and procurement opportunities for their agency. So I encourage you to stop by our table and visit with us today. And I think that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions that I might be able to answer? Okay, well, if not, then, okay, there's a hand in the back. Yes, sir. Okay, so with that, he was asking if we have anyone here representing Dallas. We are the statewide hub program, so we do certifications throughout the state. If you want specific, Dallas, Fort Worth area, then we do have, we call a memorandum of understanding with the Dallas Fort Worth Supplier Minority Diversity Council that also does hub certifications. So if you live in the different areas of the state, then we do have those memorandum of agreements with other agencies that also do the hub certification. Okay, so with that said, then that is the end. So just in summary, I wanted to add this. So the hub certification, the 3 C's, as far as business opportunities, is the hub certification, number 1. And 2, it'll assist you with contracting with any city, state, governmental agency. And 3 is to make sure that you contact the state agency's hub coordinators to help with any of the procurement opportunities at their agencies. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, we are running just a few minutes ahead of schedule, so I would really like to open up the forum to questions. Does anybody have any questions for either Tim or Luis regarding contracting? I know the guys that I work with, Tim, I refer to you oftentimes, are having problems with getting that first contract. What best practices do you share with them to help them out?
Thank you very much. Having a history of performance when doing business with government, whether it's local, state, or federal, is going to be essential, especially if you're a service provider. Now, past performance doesn't necessarily have to be government performance. So I always encourage our clients, one, continue to work on building your commercial relationships and getting commercial opportunities. Another area that Lewis talked about was subcontracting. Subcontracting is an area where you can build up past performance to help you move whenever you're ready into the prime contractor opportunity. And the last thing I would leave you with is start with the easier, low-hanging fruit opportunities, and those are typically the lower dollar ones. And it was mentioned that with the state of Texas, from $0 to $5,000, those are non-competitive opportunities with the state of Texas agencies. Now, in most cases, they're looking to give that business to hub-certified companies. So piggybacking on what Delia said, is to make sure if you're eligible for those certification programs, take advantage of them. not only do they reduce the competition for prime contract opportunities, but they can help put you in a position to win subcontract as well too. So one, continue to work commercially, because the business you do commercially between business to business can count as past performance. Get your certifications in place and try to go after some of the lower dollar, easier ones that may afford you an opportunity to establish a level of performance that you may not already have.
Great, thank you. Any other questions from the audience? All right, fantastic. Who was up? Right here? All right.
My question is about the hub zone. Is it just purchasing through the state, or I'm a service disabled veteran owned and I do aerospace work? Would that count towards like Boeing or Lockheed or Bell, my hub zone?
And so if you do have that federal certification, then that may transfer over to do business with them. And I'm going to have him answer that, because the state of Texas is the hub certification. And he's talking about the hub zone. So let me transfer it over.
Yeah, there's some confusion sometimes on that in Texas, because there's the hub program that's sponsored by Texas, but then there's also SBA has a hub zone, and that's a federal program. So for subcontracting, typically when we award to a large business, we have subcontracting goals, and they meet those goals by subcontracting in those socioeconomic categories. So if you're a hub zone, federal hub zone, and they subcontract to you, then yes, that counts toward their subcontracting goals.
All right.
One thing that I'd like to add to it is hub zone is primarily based on where your principal place of business is located. Okay, these are economically depressed areas that have been identified by the federal government through this SBA program. One of the other key criteria, and really one that presents a lot of challenges for many companies, is the employee requirement. At least 35% of your employees have to live in a hub zone. Now, you as the business owner, if you live in that hub zone, you can count yourself towards that 35%. And it doesn't even have to be the same hub zone as your principal place of business, although the majority of your employees should be aligned with where your principal place of business is. So that's one of the fundamental differences, besides the confusion of state of Texas hub, which is for minorities, women, and service disabled veteran-owned small businesses. Hub zone is for small businesses based on where their principal place of business is located, and if it's a hub zone, and 35% of your employees, not 1099s, but W-2s, live in a designated hub zone.
All right, everybody, if you can give a hand of applause to Tim, Louise, and Delia, and they will be outside afterwards for more questions. Thank you.